let's move on to this thing because we're talking about it. We're talking about looking at guys in the Senior Bowl, and last year, like Will alluded to, we were there and we saw a number of guys and we made a number of picks. And no, ladies and gentlemen, it was not just that glorious fourth round pick.
He's fifth
Our
round. He
fifth
didn't get
round.
that high.
I mean, he should have been fourth. He probably should have been first, in my opinion. But it is what it is. But there was a lot of other picks out there, and I mean, Will, let's go ahead and start right off the bat. I think we're kind of both on the same page. Jahan Dotson, man, I'll go first. I don't even know if I could probably speak for you. This guy absolutely has been a threat. When he's been on the field, this guy's a monster. This guy, what did they say coming out of college? He catches everything. That is absolutely correct. He has that just the quickness, the speed to take the top off the defense. But at the same time, I think it was the Giants game where he caught it and the guy was about to tee him up and he just circle button, spun out of that and scores a touchdown. And you're sitting here like, we haven't had that in a while. Like, come on now. So Jahan Dotson, by far, for me, he has played above and beyond what I expected from him, especially on that draft night where I was like, what? But yeah, I was proven wrong, and I'm not too proud to say it. Jahan Dotson, Will, are you same or what you think?
Same, yeah, and it, just like you said, I went on the draft special and I was like, I don't know this guy, and his measurements scare me. And shout out to Ash and Sydney, and they were like, he's really good, And I wrote to a buddy of mine, Mark, who's a Penn State fan, and I said, tell me something that's going to make me feel better about this pick. And he was like, he catches everything. He goes, you're going to love him, and we do. I mean, he's just outstanding. He's the type of player that makes you think, all right. Maybe our front office and coaches, they do know what they're talking about there. They do know what they're looking for, But he was outstanding last year, and the only thing that held him back was a hamstring injury based on getting pulled behind on a non-called defensive pass interference in Dallas. That's what held back his rookie year.
Yep, Dallas cheating again.
Haven't forgotten.
Never forget.
Still bitter.
Right. Yo, let's move down the list. Will, I'll come to you. Darian Mathis. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him much this year. What can you give him a grade? What do you think?
I'm going with an incomplete. I'm going with the Sean Spencer special there.
That's right.
Because we can't judge this guy based on the fact he had a season-ending injury in week one. You can't grade him for that. He is a Senior Bowl product. And remember, we drafted him in the second round, higher than other people, projected him because of what they saw at the Senior Bowl. Is that this is what we're looking for, So yeah, he's incomplete in my book.
Yeah, all right, and a lot. Yeah, I just don't think you can say you can't give him any other grade, but an incomplete. I mean, a lot of it was the expectation of what we hoped to see, but. Just like Fitzpatrick a year ago, we didn't get to see a full one game at all, when he got hurt. So, hey, there it is. Right. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but we'll see.
Well, and the thing about it's really disappointing because he was drafted to give us an opportunity to move on from Daron Payne. Yes. And now we didn't get a chance to see. And, I was talking with our buddy Sean Tate, and he was talking about, what do we do with Daron Payne and stuff like that. And I said to him, I was like, Mathis and Ridgeway are these run stuffers. And so we don't know if he can penetrate. That's not really what he was known for at Alabama. So I don't think he's going to do that his rookie year. So it just throws a whole wrench in what do you do with Payne? What do you do with the defensive line when you lost him for the year? You don't know what you could have gotten from him.
Right. So we shall definitely see, man. Hopefully he's going to get back in there the coming year, but we definitely got some questions that we need answered. One question that we don't need answered, and we are 100% sold on our third pick, Brian Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, this man, for surviving being shot before the season and still playing, gets an A, period. If he did nothing else, just the fact that he did that, he gets an A. But then on top of that, having the season that he had, restoring the running game, giving life back to Antonio Gibson, who coming into this year with all the fumbling issues, everybody outside of Washington was saying, they're trying to put him on the trading block. Even we were questioning, if you can't hold on to the ball, you might, your days are numbered. Brian Robinson took that pressure off of him, ran between the tackles, pushed the pile, all while surviving gunshots in his leg, had those wounds. I mean, I don't know what else you can say about this man. A+ for sure. And on top of that, even beyond that, if you can get past that, the fact that this guy is just hungry. Mm-hmm. It's one of those situations where something that most of us would have been like we talked about, if we would have got shot, baby, I need you. He's like, you just got grazed. I don't care. You know what I mean? But with him, it was just second nature. It was like, hey, I'm ready to come back to work. I'm ready to get back into this. And he did so well that we almost kind of, I don't want to say we forgot that he got shot, but it was kind of like, you did, I mean, like, what do you think, man?
Oh yeah. He was an absolute, tremendous pick. And it's so funny on draft day that, we picked a running back in the third round and people going, what are we doing? I mean, Commanders Twitter blew up on that pick. And once again,
all right, Scott,
these guys were, see you later, Scott. These guys were right, with it. If I had to say one thing that he could have done better this past year, he only had 2 touchdowns. But that's also one of the things fans have been screaming about is why aren't we giving the ball to Brian Robinson on the goal line? Or this was also to the detriment of our own line. Why did he keep getting stopped on 4th down, 3rd and 4th down, 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s? So no, he was an absolute home run hire. You can see that they recognize that Gibson just isn't the running back that they want. He can be a weapon, but not the running back that they want. And I think the best is yet to come for Robinson. He's only gonna get better at seeing holes, and he's only gonna be better next year. And I don't know if Jeremy Powers is still in there. He was watching. He commented and then left. But fly, Eagles, fly, buddy. Let's go.
There we go. There it is. Yo, we have to move on to our next pick in the 4th round. Percy Butler. Will, a lot has been talked about of him. They love his speed. He's a great special teams guy. Unfortunately, I just don't think he got on the field enough, or even when he did, you still didn't really know much about him. Towards the end of the year, you started to hear his name a little bit more. For me, I think you have to. I don't think you can go higher than like a C- or a D. Or even I don't even want to give him D+. I mean, towards the end of the year, you started to hear, but it is a struggle for me. And obviously, I mean, he's a rookie. He didn't get to shine as much, and a lot of it is on expectations from the coaches. But what did you think about Percy Butler?
Yeah, so the grade I gave him was a D. It was a tough one because in training camp he was coming on, and you thought you were going to see him a little bit more on the field. I think he got hurt, so it delayed him starting the season, or he got hurt early in the season that delayed him. And then he kind of came on, as you said, late in the season. He was a very good special teams player, and there was the grades of the draft, reports on him was saying this guy's a special teams guy, and that was right. And so there, and as we saw, there were certain times with special teams where that was real important. Getting down there, causing the fumbles, or just causing the receiver to muff it, against Dallas, so we could pick it up, type stuff. So in that case, he did what we drafted him to do, but he got drafted earlier than a lot of people thought. And so if you're going to pick someone in the 4th round like that, if you're going to pick him above some other needs or some other players, you need to have more of an impact. And he didn't. Right. He was just a special teams guy. So I did go with the D on him for that, just based on overall impact on the season. I do think the coaches like him a lot. And I think he is going to be a one to watch next year in year 2 to see, I don't want to put a direct comparison, but a Derek Forrest type ascension from year 1 to year 2 from a relative nobody out there that you didn't get a chance to see it. But he did flash in the Dallas game. He came downhill and hit. Yeah.
And see, that's what we want to see. A lot of it, again, is expectations, things that we saw. But let's see if he gets the opportunity. And if he does, let's see if he shines, because we definitely need to. Moving right along in the place that I know Will is going to be surprised with. I'm going Next, Sam Howell. We know how much I loved that he was here and that he came here. Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. He didn't play until the last game of the year. He played because the season was over, and they wanted to see what we had. The Cowboys really didn't play that game. We had a lot of our backups in the game, and up until that point, most of the things that we had heard was that he's not picking it up. He's a long ways off. Now, I will obviously, shout out to my guy. He did what he had to do against our arch rivals. That's always good. But I'm not going to sit here and I'm extra critical on him. You know how I am with Diami. I give Sam a D. And the reason I give him a D, because he played in a game, so I'm not going to give him incomplete. He played good in a game, so I'm not going to give him an F. But still, there were some things that I definitely sat there and was like, wait a minute. Even in that Dallas game, there are certain plays where you're just like, there's certain when they ran the option, and then he totally just cut it, like he took one step and then cut it inside. That's not going to work on a defense that actually is scheming and game planning for you. That stuff's not going to fit. It's not going to work itself out. So I like that
games.
Well, right. And I like that he was able to do that. I'm glad for what happened from it, but I'm not naive to think, okay, this guy's a champ. That's going to, translate into wins on the field and all this stuff. Like Dallas was in the playoffs. I just don't think you can take away the whole situation from the start and from his start against the Cowboys. So with that being said, I got to give him a D. What that does is two things. Number one, it gives him a very big gap that he can then work up to, which is what I'm hoping that he does. But B, it's also realistic. I mean, yes, he won the game. Yes, we crushed the Cowboys, but he didn't throw for 200 yards in this game. It wasn't a great, I think, what is he, 13 of 19 or something like that? It wasn't a great game necessarily. I think the score makes us kind of makes us put blinders on, or it could make you put blinders on. So I say D. Hopefully he proves up, but I can't give you anything above a D if you only played one game that didn't even matter. So that's why I'm being honest. I'm being nice. That's it.
Coach Spencer is going to be the coach or the teacher that either kids avoid, or when they see that you're on their schedule, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, he's such a hard grader.
Let's go.
Yeah, my gosh. So I gave Sam Howell a C because he didn't do anything good or anything bad this season. I mean, he did exactly what we thought. He was drafted to sit and learn, And so I didn't think I don't fault him, for that. I mean, and had we had the season go the way we wanted it to, we never would have seen him out there. If we really, had things our way, it would have been, Carson Wentz lighting it up and throwing 27 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions like he did with the Colts, and us doing well. But that, so he ended up having to get in there and play. And he showed his flashes, so that's exciting. So I don't think he did anything to disappoint me this season. And it was like your role this season was to sit back, watch, and get better, because it's a chance for you in year 2.
Yep. So definitely appreciated what we got out of him. But yes, let's see what happens next year. I'm gonna come to you on this one.
Yeah, you need to,
because
I'm salty.
We'll talk about this guy because you were the one who got me to get my eyes on him, and now all of a sudden he just, oh my God. Go ahead, Will.
Cole Turner made me look dumb in this offseason because I give him an F. He's 6'7". They say he's not really a tight end. He's a wide receiver. He was the exact type of piece that we thought what we were looking for to stretch the defense. We thought he would be Carson Wentz's Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz type player. We thought he was this next something coming, and he had some injuries in training camp that slowed him down. But he had 2 catches this season. You're coming in here as a pass catching reputation, and you have 2 catches. Which means and 9 total targets on the season, which means you're not getting open, or they're not looking your way. Means they don't trust you either. Mm-hmm. So he was a massive flop.
Yeah,
And like
I
to
was.
the point where like Nathan's saying we gotta be looking at tight ends right now because this guy didn't do it.
Yeah, he was best. He's definitely a big disappointment, and I. That's one of the things that we kept shouting out at the beginning of the year because of Carson Wentz. We're like, we have a Logan Thomas, we have a Cole Turner. These are two big trees that can run seams down the line, and he's going to hit them. It's going to be great, and that just didn't come to fruition. Cole Turner was just really just terrible. And the thing that really messed with me, we're a running team. That's our identity, Nathan. That's what we like to do. He is not a good blocker. He really doesn't do it. I mean, we got Bates and we got Logan Thomas, guys that are maybe more accustomed to blocking. But Turner, I mean, if you're not catching the ball, I at least need you to come in here and be able to block, do something else. And I mean, I almost made you wish Samus Reyes was there. At least he's been under the system for a couple years, and even if he's not doing it, but Cole it was just. I mean, you talk about a bust. It's just really, really disappointing to see just the lack of play time and lack of just targets. Everything like is a bust for me, man. I got an F.
Huge bust.
I got an F. Moving down the list, Chris Paul. Will, I'm gonna give him a C plus. And the reason I'm gonna give him a C plus because he only played in just the last one, right?
Yeah,
just that last game. But what we saw in him, and I know this is it's not fair. Sam Howell gets a D. He gets a. I'm grading Sam Howell on a steeper curve than the rest of these guys. Yeah, but I give Chris Paul C plus because what we saw in him in college and what we've been telling about him is that he's a big guy. He moves guys around. He plays that interior well. That's what we saw in that game. They still had their starters in there, albeit they might not have been playing up to par, but he was bullying those guys, and it really looked good. And that's something that's like, okay, we talk about needing O-linemen, especially when a lot of these guys that we've had keep getting injured and we keep having to replace them. Cosme, Chris Paul, these are the type of guys that we can potentially put in there, and if we get them in the system and get them going from day one, we're starting to build these lines. I'm sick and tired of them saying Dallas and Philly and San Francisco and all these guys have these great lines, and we can't keep a daggone starting five together for more than 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So This guy is one of those pieces that I think could really, really help us out a lot. And what he did in that last game kind of was conviction. I saw it. I was like, I'm good. Okay, good. So we'll see what happens going into this next year. But for me, I got to give him a C plus. What do you give him?
Yeah, I like your grade there, and I only gave him a C, but I like your thought process there because the whole thing, he was drafted just like Sam Howell. He was drafted to sit, watch, and develop. Right. And then when he was given an opportunity, in the Dallas game, he really did play well. And there was a lot of talk from our defensive line in practices, not only that week but leading up to it. They're like, this guy can play. This guy's kind of challenging here, So I do think that's a great use of a I think he was a 7th round pick, 6th or 7th round pick, late round pick. That's a terrific use of someone that shows potential, which at a even if his ceiling is to be a backup guard or someone like a Wes Schweitzer in the 6th round, 7th round, that's fantastic. To get to be developed, if he can be anything more than that, that's even better, So I think there's some real potential with this guy. There's some real intrigue that, so I think they did a good job with that because we only have such a small sample size. I can't praise him too much, but again, he's another one of these. Year 1 was meant to sit. Year 2 is when we're wanting to see, is he a starter potential? Is he the top backup guard? That type of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah. So definitely look forward to him in this offseason. And our last late round pick, Christian Holmes. Well, what do you think, man? He came in towards the end of the year, but he came in due to injuries. And he did what you asked him to do for the most part. I don't think it surprised you what he did. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he struggled a little bit on the playing the actual position of cornerback. There's no secret that the Giants went after him in that first game. Was that Darius Slayton? Did he catch that one long pass? If it wasn't Darius Slayton, it was the Holmes guy. But whatever, they had a 53-yard pass. Hodges against it was Christian Holmes. They targeted him. So they saw something there. So he did struggle. He was not ready to be on the field as a starting corner or the backup corner like he had to be. So in that matter, but he also same thing. He's a 7th round pick. He was drafted to be a special teams guy. He was on the outside burner. Week in and week out, he prevented Troy Apke from making the 53 roster. So that's got to be something right there. So I guess because he did what he was supposed to do and got a little bit of experience out there, albeit not doing that well, I did give him a C+. I felt like he was always around the ball when the guy was fair catching it. So I felt like he was, again, I thought we had a good special teams unit, and he was a part of that. So I think he gets a little bit of credit for that. So I gave him, I went with the C+. I was kind on this one. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he was a 7th round pick.
Right. And I gave him a C because, like you said, he was in there, and he was, like I said, he was as kind of expected. Like, he didn't do great, and when they picked him, they came after him. But like you said, later in the season, you can see that he was starting to get it. You would see that he was kind of, like you said, he's around the ball all the time on special teams, but he was also starting to, okay, he knows where he's supposed to be. He might not have made the tackle or made the play on the ball, whatever, but he's there as opposed to just looking like a deer caught in headlights. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and the X factor, you nailed it on the head, is the 7th round pick. The fact that he was the last pick on and got any kind of playing time. I mean, you never want to see this type of guy get playing time because mainly they're supposed to be a special teams. But obviously, if he gets in there, that's injuries and this like that. But with that being said, he went in there and he's better than William Jackson.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was,
so he fit in the system and everything like that. So I got it. I'm going to give him a C, just level it out. But a lot of it is expectations of what we can hope to see from him in the coming years. But like you said, between him and Chris Paul, and then you go back to a year ago with Cheeseman, who I think we got in the 7th, like we're making use out of these late round picks. That's what successful teams do. The later round picks, they're making use of them. These guys are playing solid contributors to the team. So that gives me a lot of hope seeing that going into the 2023 season.
Yeah, James Smith-Williams was a 7th round pick. He's a big rotational defensive player. Casey Tuhill we picked him off from the Eagles drafting him. It's like those are important to have. You have to build your depth to the draft, and as you mentioned, playing the salary cap game. This is important to, you're not expecting to get Cam Curl starters, every single draft, but you have to get guys who can plug and play when needed, and that's important. And I just got to tell you, man, that hat is so good. I am so jealous of that hat. It's so sweet.
Love it, man.
So sweet.
Love it. Shout out to my sister Shannon Spencer. Hooked me up for Christmas.
Yeah, she did.
I was like, yes, I can dig it. I can absolutely dig it. Look, so ladies and gentlemen, that is our 2022 draft grades. Let us know what you think, kind of how you feel. We'll definitely put these up a little bit later on the YouTube channel just to kind of, give us your opinions and kind of what you're looking for into this coming draft, because we want to continue to make progress and get contributors on these rookie contracts. Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.